Did you see what they just did at Perplexity? It's amazing. They came out with a browser. Yeah, a browser competing with Chrome and Firefox and all the others that are out there. And they've done it special because it's an AI browser that has some amazing capabilities. Now, I was a little bit skeptical, being the jaded journalist where we sit back and go, yeah, right. Sure. Well, I looked into this and I'm going, oh my goodness, this is really nice. So we're going to show you some practical uses of it, like when you're searching for products on Amazon. It takes a little bit of time to find all the various products that are out there, which ones you want, the price tag, the ratings, and what reviews have said about this, etc. I'm going to show you how to take that from this much time down to about that much time. You like my little sound there? Down to that. You can do it real quickly. Plus, getting summaries of those wonderful but very long YouTube interviews. Well, I'm going to show you how you can get that very quickly and easily, and even more that's there. Plus, when you're dealing with controversial issues, when you're dealing with something where there's different points of view on something, I'm going to show you ways that you can be on top of each side, what they're saying, and how to do it. This is all with Comet, which is that new web browser from Perplexity. Hi, I'm Terry Brock with Stark Raving Entrepreneurs, and we're going to show you how you can use this in a big way. First of all, let's get started right off the bat here with Amazon. And there was a search that I wanted just yesterday. Gina and I were having lunch with a new client of ours from China, matter of fact, and she had a translator right there on the table at our lunch. And as I was speaking in English, she speaks a little English, but mainly spoke Mandarin Chinese. She was listening to that, but it was filtering all of my words and translating them quickly into Mandarin Chinese. And then when I would speak, or when she would speak, it would take what she says there. I could see it if I wanted to in English and be able to have it that way. If she spoke in Chinese, I would hear it. Or she spoke a little bit of English, we could do it. But think about the benefits with Amazon to find out things very quickly of how something can work and how you can do it. Well, let me just show you how I did this here on Amazon right now. I'm going to come in here, and here we are. I'm going to come back out here. I'm looking at Amazon, and you'll see up here in the upper right, I put in a prompt for that kind of tool. I thought, okay, that'd be a kind of nice one to get here. So I said, search Amazon for a multi-language translator tool. I want it to work for Spanish, for Mandarin, Chinese, Russian, Spanish at a minimum. I put Spanish in there twice, didn't I? Yeah. Show me at least 5, more if possible, of these tools and let me know the pros and cons of each. So there it is. There's my prompt that I put in there. And I can say, all right, I want to find out about these. Well, look what Amazon gave me when prompted by Comet from Perplexity. It gave me, here's a language translator device. There's one here. There's one called Time Kettle. There's one called Language Translator Device 2025, etc. Whole bunch of these, a lot of them out there, and it's giving me the pros and cons of them. Looking at them, that's kind of nice. And it gives me summary recommendations. Hey, I like that a lot. That gives me the ability to take a look at what's important to me. I put a lot of criteria in there and probably would put even more in there when you realize, okay, this is what I want. And looking at all, I think there's like 130, 140 different products like this on Amazon. You and I could do that over a period of a long time to do it, but we don't have that time. Instead, we can let Amazon do that through Comet. Comet does it very, very well. Not only that, it also looks at the reviews that are there. So here's what we got. We put this in together. It shows me this. It comes back and shows me a little bit more on them. Here's a ranked summary. So I asked for that so I could see a little bit at a time how much they're going to be, which ones I would want, and how I would want to work with them, etc. Shows me my ratings, what they are. And that's really important because I can see if something is, like for instance, this one right here, 4.6 out of 5 stars, 33 reviews, 89% are 5-star. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. And there's a price. I can see that as well. It's giving me all of this information. But what I particularly like, look at this. It gives me a nice table that it put together based on some of the top language translators that I was looking at this time. Shows them to me right there. I can see their price. I can see all the information that I need laid out for me very, very easily. Very, very nice. But then look at this. This is where it sparkles. Best fit for your needs. I'll tell you, that is something nice. So you can find what it is saying, that given the needs that you put in your prompt, these are the important things to me on this particular product. Here is what is a best fit for your needs. You and I could do this given a lot of time, this much time, but now we're crunching it down to that amount of time, a whole lot less. Comet does that very well. And I'm kind of impressed with what this will do there with Perplexity. It's a very nice one. That's one of the things that it'll do, but an important one that we can use. But it doesn't stop there. One thing that I think is particularly good for us as communicators, whether we're YouTube or a podcaster, you're blogging, you're a coach, you're a consultant, a professional speaker, a writer, a blogger, all of those things and more, we're content creators. We need to do our research. We need to do a lot of reading. And a place that we go to a lot is, as I like to call it, the University of YouTube. Going over there, watching great educational videos, interviews particularly. I think they're very good. And I saw one just this morning that I thought was particularly good. Here it is. This is one that was an interview on the Diary of CEO Diary by Stephen Bartlett. He was interviewing Kevin O'Leary. Now, Kevin O'Leary's got a lot of strong opinions, a lot of good advice, I think. I kind of like his style. And so you see, there it is. We got this right here. But the real challenge of this one is, as you can see, it is 1 hour. Here, let me zoom in on this so you can see it a little bit more clearly here. 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 40 seconds. That is a long time. And frankly, if you're like me, and I know I sure am, you're not going to have time for doing all that. 2 hours for that one. And then there's the other ones and these other ones. I'd like to get a nice summary of it real quickly. What is it that's there? The golden gems that were there. So what I did is I used Comet. Use Comet to get that information to find out what's going on. Let me show you what I did and how you can use this. So while we're trying to do this research on Amazon or YouTube or wherever else, Comet is a great tool for being in the background to watch what you're doing and to see there. Let me show you exactly what I did on this one right here. It's really interesting as we look at it. Here it is. This is one that was on there. Real good one here. It's the Diary of CEO. Kevin O'Leary is the guest. The title says, "This $28 habit keeping you poor?" And he talks about the $28 habit. Well, I'm wondering, like the rest of us, we see something like that, we go, hey, what is that $28 habit that's keeping us poor? I want to find out. Well, I don't have time to go through the whole video, almost 2 hours. So I put this prompt together. Say, what other pieces of advice does he suggest in the course of the 2-hour interview? Give me the most important parts of this interview. Building tables and charts where appropriate. Hey, that's pretty cool. And watch what it did on that. Give me the most important parts of the interview, and then let me know what was said in this. Also give me any other summary that would be beneficial to me as an entrepreneur who is, and I need to click here on show more, content creator, professional speaker, and a consultant. So I'm getting it real close to me and where I am and what I'm doing. Well, look at what it gave me. It gave me this here, the $28 habit. Quickly saying right here, what is the $28 habit? Well, it's spending small amounts like $28 on daily discretionary expenses, such as expensive lunches, coffee, and other non-essentials, rather than investing or saving that money. O'Leary criticizes the lack of discipline behind these seemingly minor expenses, insisting that such habits add up and prevent wealth building. I got the summation of this whole thing right here. And look at this. It gave me a very nice table. The topic, here's the main takeaway. Another topic, main takeaway. I'm getting the essence of what's going on with this very quickly and very easily. Think about how that can do two things. Number one, yes, it will save you time. Number two, it brings you up to speed quickly on the ideas behind key people who have been interviewed somewhere on YouTube, for example, and of course other places. But YouTube, think about the geniuses that you have experienced. I know I have on YouTube. I've watched their video and I go, wow, damn, that is really good. What she said was fabulous. And so now I can get a summary of it. Of course, there are other tools you can go back and get the entire transcript. YouTube now does that for many videos, where you can just click on it, get the whole transcript, and then look at that. Here, I'm getting the essence of it. I'm getting just the nuggets so I can read it very carefully and very quickly to find out what's going on. Like with this table right here, I can see that. It shows me what's going on. And then look at this. O'Leary portfolio sectors. This is what his mother recommended. And so you see what his mother did. what she said as it is. And so we could look at that and say, oh, okay, she wanted this much sector here for 10%, so this sector 10%, et cetera. So it puts it all together like that, which is kind of nice, drawing it out that way. I'm thinking they could have been a little bit more detailed on it, but that's still okay. I'm not complaining, giving us a lot of good information. And then additional key insights, signal versus noise, his opinion on that. That's very important, by the way. And female entrepreneurs, relationship and wealth, AI and disruption, all of that. By the way, I like what he says here, female entrepreneurs. He observes that women leaders in his portfolio set more realistically achievable growth targets, leading to higher team coercion and lower attrition. That translates to better business. Listening more than talking is a powerful leadership lesson he learned from female CEOs. See, little things like that, you can learn a lot. Real quickly, I grabbed that and I got the essence of what he's saying. This can not only save you time, but help you build your entrepreneurial business better than ever. Just one of the many things that we can do. So let's take a look at this video here that I was telling you about with Tom Bilyeu and Peter Diamandis. Very, very good information. As I look at this here, we come back into Comet, and you'll see over on the right side, I have the assistant. That is the assistant of Comet that is telling me the information. You saw that in the Amazon example. Over here on the right side, I can see that, and it shows me what was there, all of that information that is available. I like this, and I can look at this and then move it back and forth so I can say, okay, that's good. I can make that a little bit smaller, bring it in here, move it around like that or back. Gives us a lot of capability with that in many different ways. And you see this one right here, life will get weird in the next 5 years. Build wealth while others lose theirs. And I think that's an intriguing title. Very good work on that. But look at what it did. And the main thing is you want to see not so much the content of this one, but how you can do a similar kind of thing. What you'll want to do is come in here and you'll see, for instance, what I put in here. Give me a summary of this video, citing the most important topics. Tell me specifics of how life will get weird. Also, give me a detailed list in a paragraph form of how we can build wealth while others lose their jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm making it real specific for what I want. And look what Comet gave me. Comet gave me this summary, life will get weird, and it tells me how. AI-driven change and disruption, social upheaval, abundance and democratization, shaping purpose and work. All of these things that I can go more in depth on if I need to know that. And for me, as a person who speaks a lot on AI and how that's affecting our world and the business community, a lot of corporations will hire me for that. A lot of organizations and associations say, okay, Terry, show us how this is going to be. I do my research here. So I get a compilation of several different areas, what's going on, then I can deliver that better. This is what you can do. If you're writing, if you're doing a podcast on a particular topic, you get access to it very quickly and easily. And then it says, how will life get weird? Well, it'll do this, and it shows us some things there. How to build wealth while others lose jobs. Okay, detailed strategy list. Could this be of use to you? Yeah, of course. Two brilliant people talking about a topic that's really important. Absolutely. And all that is there. But then watch this. Here's what I did that you can't do with just a transcript or very easily with other tools. I said, tell me about other opinions that would disagree with what both of these guys said. What are the cons of what they said? So I'm looking at that. I'm going to hear from others. I'm going to hear what they say. Well, like here we have technological abundance and techno-optimism, unequal distribution of benefits, some are saying, naive faith in technology solutions, implementation lags. All of these are real terms. And then it shows me these other issues right here, longevity, brain computer, et cetera, all of this there. And I came back and did this even further. You can do this for your subject, whatever it might be. I put in there, these are valid points that are raised. Now give me the counter view of these cons to what Bilyeu and Diamandis said. Cite each of the points that are negative and give me the counter positive view from any source you can find on the net. You see what I'm doing there? I'm looking at not just this video, but now anything on the net. How do people handle these complaints, these objections? What I'm doing that for is so that when I go out as a speaker and say, people say, yeah, but what about this is going on? How do we handle that? And it's a legitimate concern. something that they are concerned about, and I can see, yeah, that makes sense. But here's the other point of view, and here's why. Here's the evidence that backs it up. You can do this in a number of different areas. This is a gold mine. If you're a thought leader and you're sending out information through your spoken word, through writing, through video, through a podcast or some other form, this is something you want to pay attention to. It's got a lot of capabilities and can help you enormously. And matter of fact, it's very similar to another thing that we're going to show you is when you've got hot, controversial topics. Say, for instance, as a professional speaker, we go into industries and we speak. They've got issues that are going on in that industry. Might be I'm speaking for the widget industry. And there they've got the oogie boogie problem and the wiki waggy problem. And there's people on both sides of that issue, and the wiki waggy and the oogie boogies, they're at each other's throats right now. It's a tough issue in that industry. I can go in there and start studying what's going on in there and come up to speed quickly on pros and cons of each statement, each side, so that I can look at it more objectively and understand what's going on. Let me show you what I did on that one today. But before we get into that, I want to give a disclaimer here on this. This is not a political statement. I'm going to show you some examples of hotly contested news stories between various points of view. We're going to take a look at Fox News. We're going to take a look at MSNBC, CNN, and the Wall Street Journal. The whole idea is that I think in our society today, we're too much in an echo chamber. People want to see only their point of view. I like the journalist in me. I like to look at different points of view. I want to hear different sides, what they say. Sure, I've got my own opinions. I believe, as many of you know, strongly in freedom, liberty, and being able to live and let live. That's what I believe. Gina and I both embrace that. But we want to see what others are saying in different areas. So what I did is I opened all 4 tabs. And then, this is something you can't do elsewhere very easily at all. With using Comet, Perplexity Comet, I can go in there and can look at all 4 of them and compare views back and forth. Pretty cool. Take a look at this. Here we go. I'm bouncing in there. And right now, this is from earlier today. And in fact, right now, as I'm recording this, we're here on this live. I'm at MSNBC. And there's the stories that they have available. This is what they're doing. And there's a lot out there. I can take a look at this and see what's available now as I look at the various tabs. And all this is available. So what we can do is I can look at that, and I can look at other areas too. For instance, I'm looking at MSNBC there. What I can also do is take a look over at Fox News. I think most people objectively would say, hey, there are 2 different things. Well, what I did is I went over here and I went into MSNBC. Then right next to it, I opened the tab for Fox News. So I'm looking at what Fox News is doing right now, seeing that available, etc., and looking at it. Plus, I went over to, after that, went over to CNN. I put in CNN's information so I can see what they're doing, how they're doing it, what they're covering at this moment, and see all the capabilities that are there within CNN. And then over at the Wall Street Journal. So I'll bounce over here to the Wall Street Journal, and you'll see we've got that available. I can see what's on there right now. I'm in the opinions section there. Let's go back to the Wall Street Journal itself, the top there. And there we are. I'm in that area where I can take a look at it. So I looked at that, and then I asked Perplexity's Comet to give me some ideas and some ways that we can handle this in a very important way. So keep in mind what I've got, 4 different opinions that are coming there. Think about how you can use this with different opinions on different topics that might be controversial. There might be different views on how to do it. You go in there, you find out those views, and then you go from there. So let me bounce over here. I've got the Wall Street Journal open right now, taking a look at that. And you'll see over here on the side here with the assistant, over on the right side, it shows me what's going on. It says, I gave it the command here, look at the 4 tabs, give me a summary of what they stand for on the 5 of the hottest news items. So I want to find out whatever the hot 5 are right now at this very moment kind of thing. Show me where they agree, show me where they disagree, give me the reasons that each has for their position on this issue, and how they would disagree or agree on top 5 news stories. Look into each tab to get their views and opinions. So I'm looking at that right now, and look what it gave me. Let me move out of the way here on this. And you'll see that it gives me over here, the Senate passes this, et cetera, and it shows me what each said about it. What did the Wall Street Journal say about it? What did Fox News say? MSNBC, CNN. I can now start seeing that. I can see the agreement, which is very little, and the disagreement, how they deal with it, et cetera, and the reasons for it. Here's the second story about Trump's effect, et cetera, or Trump's efforts to do such and such. You'll see all of that, and I hear it from different points of view. Here's another story and another story. See all of this together. I can look at what others are saying. And then look at this. This is wonderful. A summary table of approaches. I can see all of these different approaches, what they're doing, how they're handling it, what their thoughts are. And the benefit of that is I'm understanding different points of view. That's important to expand our brain, get out of that echo chamber that we're all in. You want to listen to what people have to say. You want to hear other sides' point of view without arguing, without trying to persuade them and bring them over to your side. Not that I'd ever try to do that. No, I never would. Yeah, right. I've learned. Don't do it. At least I thought I had learned. The other day I did something that I should have gotten to a nice long discussion, lively discussion, shall we say, and I shouldn't have done that. But it's okay. We learn from these mistakes. But you see the benefit of this. The benefit is you and I now can take this tool and be able to use it a lot. We can use this for getting information. Right now, this has been made available to a few people. I'm honored that I'm one that are there and I'm not paying for it. But that's the other side of this. Kind of a downside, but it's there. It's the reality. You can get Comet. Comet is a part of the premier section that they have. They call it the Max section in Perplexity. And it costs you $200 a month or $2,000 for a year. Now, I don't know about you, but where I grew up out in the country, we called that serious money. And we go, whoa, that's a lot of money for this. And yes, it is. But here's what you want to look at. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this myself. You've got to look at, I'm weighing it out right now. I'm towing it over in my mind, back and forth. What if you pay that $200 a month, but because of the research that you get, the information you tap into that you couldn't get otherwise, you find clients who look at the information and go, hey, that's pretty good. We'll sign you up. Well, I don't know about you, and I'm not talking about pricing levels here, but we do charge more than $200 for an engagement of that kind of magnitude. It would be a lot. Suppose you were able to get, let's just hypothetically say, you looked at that, you got the information, and it gave you a contract and a deal for $5,000 that you wouldn't have had otherwise, or $7,000, or 10, or 20, or 50 grand, whatever the number is it worth $200 a month? This, like so many other situations, is a business decision. So I'm calling on you, my fellow entrepreneur. Here's what you want to do. Take a look at what's being offered. Don't just look at the price. Yes, it's $200 a month. That's serious. But can you make 10 times that? Can you make 5 times that? Can you get more than that in other areas because you were able to do that kind of level of research? This is at a PhD level of research that you're getting with this contact, this capability with Comet. Take a look at what Perplexity has, how they're doing it, and hey, I want to hear from you and find out how that can work. As you can see, it gives us a lot of information. I love that tabular format. I love the way that it puts it all together for us and lets us see what's going on and how it can work. But it will go beyond that as well and do many other things. I would encourage you to take a look at it and see what it's like. By the way, another very important point of that, when you're at the max level, paying $200 a month, Perplexity then allows you to share that information in a commercial or business setting. Otherwise, according to Perplexity's rules, you cannot do that with a business run. Now that changes it right there real quickly. Very few of us are going to spend $200 a month just to entertain our minds and know about something that we can't talk about. That's not good. But this is something that you've got to think about and see what is right for you as you do it. Also, as you do that, we'd love to have you like, share, and subscribe to this because, hey, that opens it up and lets us know that you like what you've got and you get the information. Plus, it really helps us a lot so that people know and the algorithms know that people like this. It would be really good for you to do that. Gina and I would appreciate it greatly if you could do that. And also, if you don't want to get some help on this, we're going to be showing many of these things again on our AI Tools for Biz. If you go over to that, those of you catching this on audio, that's AI tools, the number 4, biz.com. On video, you see a QR code in there. You can grab that real quickly. And this will give you several different tools for you and your team to start learning about AI, current tools, how to use them. It directs you to some helpful videos, gives you some helpful resources in other areas too. So this is something we wanted to make available to you here at Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. We appreciate you joining us and looking forward to hearing from you. Matter of fact, got another video for you right over here that's going to help you understand more about how this works and how you can start using it in some profoundly wonderful ways. I'm Terry Brock. Thank you very much for joining us today. I will look forward to hearing from you.